You've got to be kidding me. Paul Heyman, the same Paul Heyman who swore loyalty to Roman Reigns, who called him the tribal chief, who stood by his side through everything, is now crawling to Brock Lesnar, begging him to protect Austin Theory? The audacity. The absolute nerve of this man. And here's what makes my blood boil: Theory doesn't deserve this protection. He hasn't earned it. He's done nothing to warrant having the Beast incarnate as his personal bodyguard against Roman Reigns and CM Punk. This is everything wrong with professional wrestling today's: shortcuts, handouts, and political maneuvering instead of earning your spot. But wait, it gets worse. So much worse. Main content: let's break down this absolute circus that unfolded on Raw, because I'm telling you right now, this might be one of the most disgusting displays of favoritism and backstage politics we've seen in years. Paul Heyman, the special counsel, the wise man, the advocate, whatever title he's giving himself this week, has officially lost his mind. And Austin Theory? He's laughing all the way to an undeserved main event spot while guys who've worked their entire careers are left in the dust. Here's what happened. Austin Theory, who's been running his mouth for weeks about how he's the future of WWE, how he's already accomplished more than legends twice his age, finally bit off more than he could chew. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the head of the table, the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, decided he'd had enough of Theory's disrespect. And CM Punk, the best in the world, returned to WWE after nearly a decade, and Theory in his infinite wisdom decided to target him too. So now Theory's got two of the most dangerous, most ruthless, most accomplished superstars in WWE history gunning for him. And what does he do? Does he face them like a man? Does he prove he belongs in their conversation? No. He runs to Paul Heyman. But here's where it gets interesting, and this is what's making my head explode. Heyman doesn't tell Theory to toughen up. He doesn't tell him to earn his stripes. He doesn't even tell him to apologize and get out of the firing line. No, Heyman does something so calculated, so manipulative, so Paul Heyman that you can't help but be disgusted and impressed at the same time. He goes to Brock Lesnar. The same Brock Lesnar who's feuded with Roman. The same Brock Lesnar who has his own complicated history with CM Punk. And Heyman asks no, he begs Brock to protect Austin Theory. Now pause for a second and think about the layers of betrayal here. Heyman was Roman's special counsel. He stood in that ring week after week, acknowledging Roman, praising Roman, helping Roman conquer everyone in his path. And now he's recruiting Roman's greatest rival to protect some kid who Roman wants to destroy? The disrespect. The backstabbing. This is exactly why fans can't trust anyone in this business anymore. Viewer question number 1, quick question for you guys watching, drop your answer in the comments. Do you think Paul Heyman is still secretly working for Roman Reigns, and this whole thing is just a setup to lure Brock Lesnar into a trap? I want to hear your theories. Continuation, let's talk about Austin Theory for a minute, because I need you to understand why this situation is so infuriating. This guy, barely in his mid-20s, has been handed everything. Vince McMahon's golden boy, endless opportunities, championship matches he didn't earn, and now he's got Paul Heyman trying to recruit Brock Lesnar as his personal attack dog? Meanwhile, there are guys in the locker room who've been grinding for 15, 20 years who'll never get half the opportunities Theory's been given. And Theory walks around like he's already a legend, like he's already paid his dues, like he deserves to be mentioned in the same breath as Roman Reigns and CM Punk. The disrespect is astronomical. Roman Reigns has carried WWE on his back for years. His title reign has been legendary, historic, dominant beyond measure. He's defeated everyone: Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Edge, Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, the list goes on forever. Roman has earned every ounce of respect he gets. And CM Punk? The man revolutionized this industry. His pipe bomb promo changed wrestling forever. His title reign made WWE must-see television. His matches were instant classics. These are legends we're talking about. And Theory thinks he can disrespect them without consequences? But here's what really gets under my skin. Brock Lesnar actually considered Heyman's request. During that segment on Raw, you could see the wheels turning in Brock's head. Heyman was working his magic, using that silver tongue to manipulate Brock the same way he's manipulated everyone else throughout his career. Heyman knows exactly what buttons to push with Brock. He knows Brock's ego. He knows Brock loves being the most dominant force in WWE. He knows Brock would relish the opportunity to show Roman that he's still the alpha predator in WWE. And that's Heyman's pitch, essentially. Brock, prove to Roman you're still the beast. Prove to Roman that you're more powerful than the tribal chief. Protect Theory, and show Roman he can't touch what you're protecting. It's manipulation at its finest, and the scary part is, it might actually work. Viewer question number 2, here's another one for the comments section, and be honest, would you want Brock Lesnar as your protector if you were in Austin Theory's position, or would you refuse the help and try to handle Roman and Punk yourself? Tell me what you'd do. Continuation, now let's discuss the implications if Brock actually agrees to this. First off, Raw becomes absolute chaos. You've got Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the most dominant champion in modern WWE history, who's not used to being told no. You've got CM Punk, the best in the world, who already has a complicated relationship with WWE management and certainly doesn't appreciate some kid disrespecting him. And now you potentially have Brock Lesnar standing between them and their target? This isn't just a storyline, this is a recipe for nuclear war on Monday Night Raw. Think about the match possibilities here. If this protection deal goes through, we could see Brock and Theory as an unlikely tag team against Roman and Punk. Can you imagine that match? The power dynamics alone would be fascinating. Brock's raw power and intensity, Theory's youth and agility, Roman's methodical brutality, and Punk's technical brilliance and ring psychology. That's a dream match scenario, even if the circumstances getting us there are absolutely infuriating. But let's be real for a second. This protection won't last. It can't last. Because eventually, Brock Lesnar is going to realize he's being used. Eventually, Brock's going to see that Theory isn't worth protecting, that Theory is just a manipulative opportunist who's hiding behind bigger names instead of making his own. And when Brock realizes that, Theory's going to face consequences even worse than what Roman and Punk had planned for him. Because there's one thing you never do in WWE, you never make Brock Lesnar feel like a fool. The history between these men makes this even more complicated. Brock and Roman have been rivals for years. Their matches have been absolutely brutal WrestleMania encounters, SummerSlam showdowns, Royal Rumble battles. They've thrown each other through announce tables, hit each other with finishers on top of cars, and beaten each other to the point where both men were bleeding and exhausted. This rivalry is personal. It's not something that just goes away because Paul Heyman asks nicely. And Brock's history with CM Punk? That's even more volatile. Their feud was cut short years ago, but everyone remembers the intensity. Punk challenged Brock when Brock returned to WWE. They had that incredible match where Punk showed he could hang with the Beast incarnate, even though he ultimately lost. There's unfinished business there. There's mutual respect mixed with genuine animosity. If Brock stands between Punk and Theory, Punk isn't going to just accept that and walk away. Punk's going to want to go through Brock to get to Theory. Viewer question number 3, third question for you all, and this one's important. Who do you think would win in a one-on-one match today between Brock Lesnar and CM Punk? Drop your pick in the comments and explain why. Continuation, let's talk about Paul Heyman's master plan here, because make no mistake, this isn't just about protecting Theory. Heyman always has multiple agendas. He's the most calculating mind in professional wrestling. Every word he speaks, every alliance he forms, every deal he makes serves multiple purposes. So what's his endgame with this Brock-Theory alliance? Theory number 1, Heyman wants to create chaos between Roman and Brock, potentially setting up another massive match between them. By protecting Theory, Brock directly opposes Roman's wishes, which reignites their rivalry. Heyman could be planning to play both sides, creating a situation where both Roman and Brock come to him for counsel, giving him ultimate power over WWE's main event scene. Theory number 2, Heyman sees Austin Theory as a long-term investment. Maybe Heyman knows something we don't. Maybe he sees potential in Theory that will pay off years from now, and protecting him now ensures Heyman has influence over a future WWE champion. This would be classic Heyman, always thinking 3, 4, 5 years ahead. Theory number 3, and this is the most sinister, Heyman is setting up Brock Lesnar for the ultimate downfall. By convincing Brock to protect Theory, Heyman creates a scenario where Brock makes enemies of both Roman and Punk. Two of the most vindictive, ruthless competitors in WWE history now have legitimate reason to target Brock. Heyman could be orchestrating Brock's destruction, possibly as revenge for all the times Brock betrayed or abandoned him over the years. The genius of Paul Heyman is that all three theories could be true simultaneously. That's how his mind works. That's what makes him the most dangerous advocate in WWE history. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Does Austin Theory even deserve this level of protection and attention? The answer, and I cannot stress this enough, is absolutely not. Theory has potential, sure. He's athletic, he's got a decent look, he can work in the ring. But potential doesn't mean you deserve to skip the line. Potential doesn't mean you get to disrespect legends without consequences. Potential doesn't mean Paul Heyman should prostrate himself before Brock Lesnar on your behalf. There are guys in the WWE locker room right now who've worked exponentially harder than Theory and gotten a fraction of the opportunities. Chad Gable is one of the best technical wrestlers in the world. Where's his main event push? Ricochet is one of the most athletically gifted performers we've ever seen. Where's Paul Heyman begging for his protection? Shinsuke Nakamura is a former IWGP heavyweight champion, a king of strong style. Where's his spot in this main event picture? Viewer question number 4, question 4 for the comment section. Which WWE superstar do you think actually deserves Paul Heyman as their advocate more than Austin Theory? Give me one name and tell me why. Continuation, the Raw segment itself was television gold, I'll give them that. Heyman approached Brock backstage, and you could see the surprise on Brock's face. These two have such a complicated history, partners, then enemies, then partners again, cycling through betrayals and reunions for over 2 decades. Their relationship is the most compelling long-term storyline in modern wrestling, arguably more interesting than any championship reign or faction warfare. Heyman started his pitch by appealing to Brock's ego, which is smart. Brock, you're the beast incarnate. You're the one true conqueror in WWE. But Roman walks around calling himself the tribal chief, acting like he's surpassed you. You could see Brock's jaw clench at that. Heyman continued, CM Punk returns and everyone acts like he's the best in the world. But we both know there's only one best in the world, and he's standing right in front of me. Classic Heyman manipulation. Stroke Brock's ego, make him feel disrespected, then present protecting Theory as a way to reassert dominance. Help me protect Austin Theory from Roman and Punk, Heyman said, and you send a message to everyone that you're still the alpha predator in WWE. You're telling Roman his authority means nothing to you. You're telling Punk his return means nothing to you. Brock didn't say yes, but he didn't say no either. He just stared at Heyman with those cold, calculating eyes, and then walked away. That silence is what's driving everyone crazy. What is Brock thinking? What's his decision? Is he manipulating Heyman right back, or is he genuinely considering this alliance? Meanwhile, Roman Reigns found out about Heyman's meeting with Brock, and the tribal chief was furious. There was a backstage segment where Roman confronted Theory, getting right in his face, telling him that hiding behind Paul Heyman won't save him. You disrespected me, Roman said, his voice low and menacing. You disrespected my family. You disrespected the bloodline. And no amount of protection, not Paul Heyman, not Brock Lesnar, not anyone, will save you from acknowledging me. The intensity in Roman's eyes was terrifying. This is a man who's held the Universal Championship for over 1,000 days. This is a man who's conquered every challenger, destroyed every faction, and maintained absolute dominance over WWE. And some 20-something kid thinks he can disrespect him and escape consequences? Roman's pride won't allow it. CM Punk's response was different but equally menacing. Punk cut a promo later in the show where he addressed Theory directly. Kid, I don't know what Paul Heyman promised you, and I don't care what protection you think you have. But let me tell you something about respect in this business: you earn it. You don't get it handed to you, and you certainly don't keep it by running your mouth and then hiding behind legends. Punk continued, you want to be in the main event? You want to be mentioned with Roman Reigns and CM Punk? Then step up. Face us. Prove you belong. Because right now, all you're proving is that you're a scared child playing in a man's world. Viewer question number 5, fifth question, and I really want to hear from you on this, between Roman Reigns and CM Punk, who cuts the better promo? Who's more convincing on the microphone? Defend your answer in the comments. Continuation, the beauty of this storyline is how it interconnects with so many other elements happening in WWE right now. The Bloodline has been the dominant faction for years, but there are cracks forming. Solo Sikoa seems to have his own ambitions. Jimmy and GUSO have had their issues. If Roman gets distracted by this Theory situation, if Paul Heyman's betrayal becomes a major focus, could that be the opening the Bloodline's enemies need to finally dethrone Roman? And CM Punk's return has already disrupted the entire locker room dynamic. Guys who were comfortable in their positions suddenly have to compete with one of the greatest of all time for television time, for match spots, for main event opportunities. Punk's presence elevates everyone, but it also creates tension. If Punk gets pulled into a feud with Brock Lesnar over Austin Theory, that changes his trajectory entirely. Is that good for WWE? Is that good for Punk? Or is it a waste of his return? The real victims in this situation are the WWE fans who just want to see the best possible wrestling. We want to see Roman Reigns defend his championship against worthy challengers. We want to see CM Punk have legendary matches with the current generation of stars. We want to see Brock Lesnar used properly in feuds that matter. Instead, we're getting this convoluted protection scheme for a guy who hasn't proven he deserves to be in the conversation. Although, I'll admit, if this leads to a fatal 4-way match, Roman vs Punk vs Brock vs Theory, that could be absolutely incredible. Imagine the storytelling possibilities. The alliances, the betrayals, the power dynamics shifting throughout the match. Theory would be absolutely outclassed, which could lead to incredible underdog moments if he manages to survive longer than expected. Or it could lead to his complete destruction, which is what most fans probably want to see. Here's what I think happens next, and you can hold me to this prediction. Brock agrees to protect Theory, but only temporarily. He uses it as an opportunity to get back in Roman's face, to prove he's still the most dominant force in WWE. But during a crucial moment, maybe Theory's getting double-teamed by Roman and Punk. Brock doesn't make the save. He stands back and watches Theory get destroyed. Then he F5s Theory himself, just to send a message that nobody uses Brock Lesnar. That's what I'm predicting. Or alternatively, maybe Brock fully commits to protecting Theory, but only because he knows it will create the most chaos possible. Brock loves fighting. He loves dominating. If protecting Theory means he gets to fight Roman and Punk, why wouldn't he? More destruction, more violence, more opportunities to prove he's the beast incarnate. Viewer question number 6. Sixth question for you: do you think Brock Lesnar will ultimately help Austin Theory, betray him, or completely ignore this whole situation? Put your prediction in the comments. Continuation. Let's examine what each possible outcome means for WWE moving forward, because this isn't just about one storyline, this affects the entire landscape of Monday Night Raw. Outcome 1. Brock agrees and successfully protects Theory. This establishes Theory as someone under Brock's protection, which immediately elevates his status whether he deserves it or not. It creates a stable or alliance that could dominate Raw for months. It forces Roman to either back down, which he's never done, or escalate into all-out war. It puts Punk in a position where he has to decide how much he wants revenge on Theory versus getting drawn into a bigger conflict with Brock. This outcome creates the most long-term storytelling possibilities, but is also the most frustrating for fans who think Theory hasn't earned any of this. Outcome 2. Brock refuses, leaving Theory to fend for himself. This would be immediately satisfying for fans who want to see Theory face consequences. Roman and Punk could absolutely dismantle him, teaching him a harsh lesson about respect and earning your place. Theory could either rise to the occasion and prove he belongs, or he could get completely destroyed and have to rebuild from scratch. This outcome is cleaner and more satisfying, but ends the story much quicker and wastes the potential of having Brock involved. Outcome 3, and this is the most interesting: Brock plays both sides. He tells Heyman he'll protect Theory, tells Roman he respects the tribal chief's authority, and tells Punk he has no issue with him. Then Brock orchestrates a situation where all three, Theory, Roman, and Punk, are vulnerable, and he destroys everyone. This is classic Brock behavior. He doesn't take sides, he proves he's above everyone. This outcome would be peak Brock Lesnar, but would also derail multiple storylines in favor of just showcasing Brock's dominance again. The backstage politics of this situation must be insane. Can you imagine the real conversations happening among WWE's creative team? They've got four massive stars: Roman, Punk, Brock, and yes, WWE clearly sees Theory as a star, and they have to balance all their storylines, egos, and fan reactions. One wrong move and this whole thing collapses into a mess that satisfies nobody. There's also the question of what happens to Paul Heyman long term. If he's truly betrayed Roman, can he ever go back to being the wise man to the tribal chief? Or has he burned that bridge permanently? Maybe that's what Heyman wants: a clean break from Roman so he can establish himself as a free agent advocate, available to whoever can benefit from his services. Or maybe this is all part of a longer con, and Heyman's still loyal to Roman while appearing to help Theory. The possibilities are endless with someone as manipulative as Paul Heyman. What about the physical toll this situation could create? If this escalates into matches, we're talking about some of the most punishing competitors in WWE history all targeting each other. Roman's spears can break ribs. Punk's GTS has knocked people unconscious. Brock's F5 has ended careers. And Theory, as athletic as he is, has never been in a war like what's about to come if this situation explodes. His body isn't prepared for the punishment these men can inflict. We could be looking at a genuine injury concern if Theory ends up in the ring with all three of these men at once. Viewer question number 7. Lucky number 7 for the comments: if you could book this storyline yourself, how would you end it? Give me your fantasy booking in detail. Final section. Here's the bottom line that nobody wants to admit: this storyline works because it makes us angry. WWE knows exactly what they're doing. They know fans are frustrated with Austin Theory's push. They know bringing Paul Heyman into this adds layers of complexity. They know involving Brock Lesnar creates must-see television. And they know that Roman Reigns and CM Punk are so beloved that putting them against an overprotected Theory creates genuine heat. We're being manipulated, and I'm not even mad about it. This is storytelling at its finest, even if the premise frustrates us. Because ultimately, we're all going to tune in next Monday to see what happens. We're all going to watch every segment involving these 5 men. We're all going to debate and argue and predict in the comments section, which, by the way, I'm still waiting to see your answers to all my questions. The genius of WWE's creative team, when they fire on all cylinders like this, is creating situations where every possible outcome leads to more story. If Brock helps Theory, huge story. If he refuses, huge story. If he betrays everyone, huge story. There's no version of this that doesn't lead somewhere compelling, and that's the sign of excellent wrestling storytelling. But let's not forget what started this entire mess: Austin Theory's disrespect. His overconfidence. His arrogance. Whether you think that's good heel work or genuine immaturity, it's the catalyst for everything that's happening. In a way, Theory successfully inserted himself into the main event picture by being so annoying that legends want to destroy him. Is that admirable? Absolutely not. But is it effective? Unfortunately, yes. The coming weeks on Raw are going to be absolutely explosive. Every segment could feature confrontations between these men. Every match could be interrupted by attacks or save attempts. The entire show might revolve around this central conflict, and honestly, I'm here for it. As much as I'm frustrated by Theory's undeserved push, I can't deny that I'm invested in seeing how this plays out. Will Paul Heyman's gambit succeed? Will Brock Lesnar accept the role of protector? Will Roman Reigns destroy everyone in his path to get to Theory? Will CM Punk remind everyone why he's the best in the world? These questions will drive Monday Night Raw forward, and we'll all be watching to find out the answers. This is exactly why we love professional wrestling: the drama, the unpredictability, the larger-than-life characters, and the moments that make us want to jump out of our seats or throw our remotes at the television. WWE has created something special here, even if it's built around one of the most polarizing young stars on the roster. So that's my analysis of this absolute insanity involving Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar, Austin Theory, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk. Make sure you've answered all 7 questions I asked throughout this video in the comments below. I want to hear your theories, your predictions, your frustrations, and your dream bookings. Hit that like button if this storyline has you as fired up as it has me, and subscribe to Wrestling World CC because we're going to be covering every twist and turn of this situation as it develops. We're living through potentially one of the most chaotic and compelling storylines of the year, and I cannot wait to see where this goes next.